Despite significant casualties and economic loss, Americans benefited from the Korean War by stopping the growth of communism, gaining an international reputation of defending democracy, and creating alliances.
World War II comes to an end. Korea is liberated from Japanese occupation. The nation is divided along the 30th parallel, with the Soviets in the north and the United States in the south. On June 25, 1950, the Korean War erupted when North Korean forces, backed by the Soviet Union, invaded South Korea. This invasion marked the beginning of a devastating conflict that would last for 3 years. The United Nations, led by the United States, quickly intervened to support South Korea, marking the first significant armed conflict of the Cold War.
Political issue. Our foreign policy is not a political issue. It is a matter of life and death. It is a matter of...
On September 1950, General Douglas MacArthur's bold landing at the port of Incheon turns the tide of the war. United Nations forces pushed North Korean troops back across the 30th parallel. October 1950, the conflict takes a dramatic turn when China intervenes on the side of North Korea. This escalates the war and leads to a more prolonged and brutal phase.
The war had a profound impact on the people of Korea. Families were torn apart, cities were left in ruins, and both sides suffered tremendous human losses. After 3 years of intense fighting, an armistice agreement was signed in 1953. However, a formal peace treaty was never reached, and to this day, North and South Korea remain divided along the 38th parallel.
The 38th parallel remains a demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea, and is an enduring symbol of the war's division.
Making hand gestures to the north and do not go past the soldiers behind you to your left and right.
This is the demilitarized zone. It's the closest we can get to North Korea. It's a neutral area, about 4 kilometers, that's about 2.5 miles. And there are both UN and South Korean soldiers just behind me. And in the distance, there is a North Korean soldier. But we've been warned not to make any hand gestures, not to make any sudden movements, because there are concerns about any startling gestures, given the fact that things are still quite tense here.
Anti-communist motivations. Warplanes would fly over communist areas and release leaflets all over the land to resist the communist ideology. Although expensive, the use of leaflets may have saved thousands of people from succumbing to communism. The variety within the propaganda usage allowed for more convincing options in order to resist the communist North Korea. The press had a social influence within the Korean War and propaganda.
These drops are being made frequently to counter enemy propaganda. The C-47 transports carry heavy loads of leaflets for long trips into North Korea. For shorter trips, T-6s are used. Safe conduct passes. If the leaflet is found on a North Korean soldier by his own officers, the penalty is death. Over enemy territory, the packets are thrown out, and the wind takes care of sorting and delivery. Enemy captives report that these messages are often memorized to avoid the danger of having the leaflet found on the person.
Propaganda also played a significant role. America has been occupying South Korea with military bases for the last 70 years, where they have grown tens of thousands of acres of land and poisoned groundwater to excessively dangerous levels. This expresses the environmental effects that America has had an effect on over a course of time longer than the original duration of the Korean War itself. As evidence shows, these numbers are a sizable amount when concerned with the human lives and economic value involved with this war, but the consequences do not end there. An estimate of 36,500 American soldiers were killed in relation to this war, and over 100,000 total casualties amongst the United Nations. For South Korea, there were around 1.2 million total deaths. The specific economic cost for America included around $20 billion. American involvement within the Korean War undoubtedly faced our nation with some negative costs.
The Korean War may have been costly, but it produced benefits. One of the biggest benefits of the Korean War was South Korea's liberation from communism. Through the United Nations Korean War,
thank you, dear God, for victory in Korea. We're grateful that the battle's won.
Economically, in the United States, the Korean War annually posted GDP growth, which is a measure of how fast an economy grows. After World War II, the economy was struggling, but the Korean War allowed it to grow through wartime production. Socially, the civil rights movement received a major push forward through the integration of the United States military. Executive Order 981 allowed barracks of the United States military to integrate. Slowly, barrack by barrack, black and white soldiers began to fight together. The foreign policy of containment was developed because of the Korean War. NCS 60 was published confidentially in 1950. The document argued that the United States could not return to isolationism without encouraging the expansion of communism worldwide. NATO, or North Atlantic Treaty Organization, was formed after World War II. The Korean War caused NATO to become a American alliance. The alliance was forced to create concrete military plans to defend themselves against communism. Here is President Truman discussing
a program of military assistance acting under Article 3 of the treaty to maintain and develop their collective capacity to resist armed attack by a system of mutual help. This aid, by the end of the fiscal year 1959, amounted to over $10 billion.
We're grateful that the battle's won. We give you the praise for victory and Korea. We thank you, dear God, for what you've done.
The relationship between South Korea has economic ties and military Chairman Kim Jong-un has been unpredictable and denuclearization talks have stalled. The recent missile tests are cause for concern, but they indicated a willingness to come back to the table.
Let's talk to God before it is too late. Thank you, dear God, for victory in Korea. We're grateful that the battle's won. We give you the praise for victory in Korea. We thank you, dear God, for what you've done.
Than we have suffered in all the fighting in Korea. I do not want to be responsible for bringing that about. Peace under law is the victory we seek.
China and Russia continue to play a significant role, especially with North Korea. They've been pushing for a phased denuclearization approach, which may lead to gradual progress. We should engage them strategically without compromising our interests.
I was a tank gunner, and I done my duty and done it well, until that day on Heartbreak Ridge when they cornered us and we had to surrender. I can't say
hostile relationships we have with North Korea today, fear of nuclear war every day. North Korea has allies with China, and we fear it will become allies with Russia and expand communism. North Korea has an arsenal of 34 nuclear weapons that could produce 7 a year. North Korea pledged cooperation in educational and scientific, cultural spheres and nuclear cooperation. And North Korea's population is in 60% poverty. The American people value diplomacy, but they want to ensure our national security. They're looking to us for a careful, measured approach. Transparency is crucial. We can't afford to lose sight of our values and principles. Let's keep the lines of communication open with both Koreas. We must work towards a peaceful resolution while protecting our interests.
Happy it's because I am. This has been a great meeting. Mr. President, Mr. Prime Minister, we meet in this historic place to make a historic moment, and I believe that to be true. This is a new era in partnership between Japan and the Republic of Korea and the United States. Our new Camp David Trilat. That's what we have here. But before we dive into the progress we've made today,
and when I asked the guard,
the Korean War led to the loss of millions of lives and billions of dollars. The United States found new anti-democracy enemies such as Russia and North Korea, and a new looming nuclear threat. But the gains of the Korean War, such as a higher world standing for the United States, the United States gaining allies, the growth of NATO, South Korean liberation from communism, and economic growth far outweigh the losses. In conclusion, the benefits of the Korean War far outweigh the costs.
Who wait and pray for me. I was so blind.